A brief definition of structural integrity. The most flagrant oxymoron I've ever heard is the phrase, "one day they just snapped." Like the person declaring this in that tone which suggests some sort of anomalous, self-evident je ne sais quoi quality lacking sufficient significance to be worth mentioning just happens to happen, except when it doesn't. Like they've never watched anything get pulled apart before. Like they've never ran their fingers across the thinnest string on a violin. Like they've never needed to tiptoe on the regular over the live wire length of their living room to make it to the kitchen without breaking the tension in a piercing screech of piecemeal nuclear family fission. Like they've never been late for anything because something somewhere inside of the car broke down. Like they aren't used to this happening more often than not. Like their whole life lies within walking distance, through one of those good neighborhoods. Like wildfires and oil spills and hate crimes just happen sometimes, like acid rain, like lightning strikes, like drone strikes, like suicides, and sometimes suicides happen in clusters, and isn't just that one of those inexplicable oddities that just happens to happen out there in those far-flung corners of this grand adventure we call life, and sometimes abusers make friends with other abusers and bond over the swapping of tips on how to keep everyone else in that crowded, merrily socializing room from noticing or blaming anyone but their victims, and sometimes their victims swap tips on how they've managed to survive so far in a soft and casual a tone as they've learned to speak through perfectly forced smiles, a perfection forged from practicing as if their lives depended on it. As a lion's share in the lion's den cheer and jeer around a game of Jenga, watching with leisurely gleeful anxiety as the players take turns taking apart a teetering tower piece by wobble-pulling piece, one-upping each other in the art of calculated live dissection, drawing out the game for as long as they can manage until the tower collapses into a messy pile of disconnected wooden blocks. And then the crowd howls, groans, giggles over how sudden and shockingly it all ended. One turn, the whole thing suddenly fell apart, they say to one another, as they leave the table, in search of something else to laugh at.